Burn builds are the most fun build I think in Once Human, and you can't convince me otherwise. But thanks to the new mod conversion system, I've managed to get this to 45,000, almost 50k DPS. And I want to show you how I managed to do that and show you just how strong this is against pro bosses. So with that, let me get into the new mod conversion system, where as you can see here, there's a little button and you click on it. And I'm not going to go through exactly what you need to do and the best thing to do, as Doomerus goes through this pretty well. However, a quick overview: if I wanted Flame Resonance, I would click on this, click Talents, but I don't currently have enough. I need 4. And then I would click Autofill, and that's just going to put the best mods in there for me. And then I exchange, and boom, it will give it me. And it is kind of random, so I will have to continue to do this, but eventually it will give me what I want, and that's what I've managed to do. So as you can see now on screen, we're getting like upwards of 40k DPS, 45k DPS, which is crazy on this build considering it was 25 just a few days ago. But not only that, a lot of what I have does damage to great ones. So if you think this does well now, wait until we show you the pro boss. But as you can see, we start off, and it starts at a pretty decent damage anyway with the Pyro Dino, and it just continues to build, which honestly I didn't expect to be able to get it as high as it is. But with that being said, let me show you what we actually have in the gear. So it's the same as we had kind of before. We have a rapid shot style cam crank, and it's got elemental damage on it 2 times, 6.4% and 11.5%. Then we've got the KVD boom with the rapid shot, which has elemental and crit damage. So both of them do pretty well. The KVD boom more so for normal enemies, just getting rid of the chaff, so that works really well with the explosions that it does. And the cam crank just melts the bosses and anything that it touches. I'm usually pretty high, almost top in damage against Prime Wars. And then we have the Shelterer set, which we had before, so all of this is the same. We have it because it's really good. It adds Deviant Energy, which gives us another 1% of element damage, which can be stacked to 20 times, so that's 20% plus another 10% after that. And then we've got the Barbecue Gloves, which does burn damage frequency increases with the number of stacks up to 100%. Now that's also crazy. And finally, we just have the Heavy Duty Boot sets, just to give us that little bit of max HP. Now let's get into what actually matters in this one, and that is the mods. So the Cam Crank, we have Flame Resonance, which has a gold burn damage 6%. And it just does max burn stacks plus 2. So the burn duration's less by 20%. However, that just having those extra 2 stacks of burn is insane. It gets us from like 4,000 to like 6,500 damage per tick on the burn. And the burn ticks really quickly as well. So that just annihilates enemies. You can just leave them to burn and it's great. However, I believe we did already have this one, as I focus more so on the armor mods. But quickly looking at the KVD boom, we have triggering burn has a 25% chance to grant an extra stack. Just because this one has a lower percentage chance. The other one, every 7 shots you inflict burn. This one has like a 15% chance. So we have that. So we have, if we do, we possibly do get another stack of burn. Plus we've got a gold element damage, so we've got 8% on that. Just with some other stuff, I haven't managed to get one better than this yet. That is. So then we go to the Shelterer hat, and this is a good one that I managed to get. This is a Deviation Expert, which gives us an extra 8% of element damage as well. But this also gets rid of your range, but raises the fire rate, which is great because you want to fire as quickly as possible to get as much burn as possible. And it gives us an extra 20% status damage, which is crazy. And as I was looking, status damage and element damage are the same thing from what I can tell. From what I read, it just says it's the same thing. So then if we look at Shelterer Mask, every stack of burn grants plus 3% psi intensity, so we're going to get quite a few stacks. Psi intensity goes up, which also will do more weapon damage and more burn damage, plus we've got the extra 6% burn damage there, so that's good. And then we have the Shelterer Top. When HP is lower than 60%, purge all deviated states. This one's not too great, but the element damage on this is crazy. I managed to get a good one for this, 6.4%. and the 2.4 with the status damage, so we're getting an extra 8.8. But the only thing right now enhancing this one, so one of them could be gold, is the armor points. I'm kind of low on them. And then if we look at our pants, we managed to get this one, which has every 10% weak spot hit rate of the previous magazine. So we want to aim for those weak spots. The element damage goes up by 4%, up to another 24%, lasting 10 seconds. So that's crazy. Reloading resets the calculation. But that's fine because it's the previous magazine. So if you're hitting 24 shots of weak spot damage, you're getting another 24%, which is crazy. And then you've got the element damage on top of that. We got another 8% here. We've got that gold. And then if we go to the gloves, this one pretty good, but also we can't level up, and we've done that as much as we can. We got an extra 6.4% of element damage here, plus we've got another 20% of status damage with the actual mod, so that's good. And then we finally go to the heavy duty shoes, which is taking no damage within 4 seconds, plus 20% melee, weapon and status damage for 30 seconds. So that's another 20%, plus another 6.4% of element damage, and another 2.4% of status damage. Now if we go through them all again, look, this one's 4% against normal enemies, 3.6% against great ones. This one has elite enemies and great ones. This is 4.8% on the great ones. Then you've got another one which has 1.2% on the great ones, so not great, but it still adds to it. We've got 4.5% on the elite enemies again there. We have another 4.5 on elite enemies and another 2.4% on the great ones. And finally, we got some more normal enemies, and we just up in the magazine capacity a bit, because the more ammo we have in these, the better they're going to do. And to be honest, this build has been absolutely crazy. Now, as you can see, I took on the Shadow Hound on pro difficulty, so this should have been super difficult. However, this build just burned straight through it. He barely had time to think or attack between each stages of this fight, where you have to shoot the things off at each side. I literally just took them off and the burn ticked down. He had to put them on again and then he died. And it was just a super quick fight, and the burn really helped. And we also have the Pyro Dino with +2 and 2 for the skill and activity rating with the deviation trait. I did show a video if you want to see where to get the Pyro Dino from and quick. I'll show you where to get that. However, this has an autonomous attack which increases blaze damage received by 24.5% when attacking targets inflicted by burn, and cause explosion 1 time. So it's pretty crazy. It adds so much more to the build, and it just does so much damage. And as you can see with the disintegrating rifle ammo, this can actually almost reach 50k, as we hit 49k on this build, which is absolutely crazy, and that's without all the great or elite bonus damage. So it just does so much, and it's really fun to use. So my recommendation to you, if you want a really fun build, build this one, just play with it, use your mods, use the mod conversion, it's really fun, and just enjoy yourself because it's so good. But if you want to find out how to get the Pyro Dino in like a minute, then you should check this video out on screen now, and make sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing so you don't miss any of the content here, and I will catch you all in the next one.